Data setup, tips dataset. We will load a dataset and preview it. Running the cell now. We import Seaborn and Matplotlib. We load the tips dataset directly from Seaborn. We print its shape and preview the first rows. We make a violin plot to compare distributions of total bill by day and gender. Running the cell now. Let us start with an overview. Welcome. Today we are going to explore three very important continuous probability distributions. You will see how to create, visualize, and use these distributions in Python. Let us unlock some mathematical magic that helps explain everyday randomness. Gain die continuous distributions, uniform, normal, and exponential. Welcome. Today we will explore three very important continuous probability distributions. You will see how to create, visualize, and use these distributions in Python. Let us unlock some mathematical magic that helps explain everyday randomness. Running the cell now. Ready to dive in? Let us get set up. First, we will import the Python libraries we need for working with data and plotting graphs. This section brings in Python tools to work with numbers, data, and plotting. Warnings will not show up so that our outputs stay clean. NumPy helps us make random numbers and math work faster. Pandas lets us use tables and clean up our data easily. Matplotlib and Seaborn both let us draw and explore charts. Setting a style makes our plots easier to read and compare. Running the cell now. You do not need to remember these imports just yet. Let us keep going. Let us break down what continuous distributions mean. What are continuous distributions? A continuous distribution tells us the chance of many values, not just a few. For example, a person's height or the waiting time between buses. Three famous examples are uniform, normal, and exponential. We will see each one with code and real-life connections. Running the cell now. Which sounds most interesting to you so far? This code will show us what a uniform distribution looks like in practice. Here, we make 1000 random decimal numbers between 0 and 10. This is like rolling a number line instead of a six-sided die. We plot those numbers in a histogram. The KDE curve helps us see the shape. The plot title helps us remember what we are visualizing. On the x-axis, we see the range of possible values. On the y-axis, we see how many times each value occurs. Showing the plot lets us actually see the uniform distribution. Running the cell now. Try tweaking the range or sample size and notice the effect. Let us use a real-world example for the uniform. Imagine you pick a moment at random during a 10-minute break. We import a special toolkit to use probability math. This code asks, if you pick a random number from 0 to 10, what are the chances it is less than 3? We print out the result so we can see the probability. Running the cell now. Could you come up with your own uniform example for another interval? Now we will meet the normal distribution. It is also called the bell curve. Normal distribution, the bell curve. This is a superstar in statistics. Most people's heights, exam scores, and many measurements follow a normal or bell curve shape. Let us see it with numbers and graphs. Running the cell now. Why do you think so many things in nature fall into a bell curve? Let us create fake data for people's heights, using the normal distribution. We simulate 1000 people. Their average height is 170 centimeters, with a spread of 10. We make a histogram to see which heights show up most often. The shape will look like a bell curve. We label the chart for meaning. The x-axis is height, the y-axis is how many people. Now, we display the chart. Running the cell now. Notice how most heights crowd near the average. What is the chance a person is shorter than 180 or 190 centimeters? The code below figures this out. We import tools for normal distribution math. This calculates the chance a randomly selected person is under 180 centimeters. We print that probability, rounded for easy reading. Now we check the chance for being under 190. Printing helps us compare both numbers. Running the cell now. Try switching numbers for other heights. What changes? Now let us see what happens if we change the middle or spread of the bell curve. We make a line of values for the x-axis. We make 3 normal curves. One shifts the average, another changes the spread. As we loop, we plot each curve in a different color and label. We calculate the curve values so each line is smooth and accurate. This makes sure the lines are drawn for all cases. A clear title helps us remember what we are looking at. The axes show possible values and probabilities. A legend explains which curve matches which settings. Finally, we show our chart. Running the cell now. Do you see how the bell moves or gets wider when we change the numbers? Up next is the exponential distribution, often used for waiting time problems. Exponential distribution, waiting times. Families often use this when studying how long you must wait between rare events. For example, the time between buses arriving at a station, or how quickly emails arrive. Let us look at an example and visualize it. Running the cell now. Has this kind of randomness happened to you before? Let us imagine a bus arrives every 5 minutes on average. We will simulate that. We create 1,000 waiting times with an average of 5 minutes. We plot these wait times to see their pattern. The KDE shows the likelihood for each waiting time. The chart title, X, and Y labels make the meaning clear. Now we show the chart. Running the cell now. Notice how shorter wait times are common and longer waits are rare. How likely is it to wait less than 3 minutes? What about more than 10? Let us calculate. We import the exponential distribution calculator. This finds the chance of a wait under 3 minutes. The print helps us see and share the percentage. Now we work out the chance of waiting more than 10 minutes. Printing again shows the number clearly. Running the cell now. Try these calculations with different wait times. Let us put all 3 distributions on one plot and see their unique shapes. We line up values from 0 to 20 for comparing. We start a new plot with a good size. We draw the uniform distribution in blue. It is flat. We plot the normal curve with a center and spread in purple. The exponential curve in green shows how events decay over time. A clear title and labels help us compare. We add a legend so we know which color is which. Then we draw the chart. Running the cell now. Which distribution do you think matches most everyday situations? It is time to put our skills to use with a real-world style exercise. Loading real data, simulated arrival times. Let us try working with real data. Imagine we tracked customer arrivals at a shop every minute for an hour. We will make sample data to practice. Running the cell now. Are you ready to pretend you run your own coffee shop? Here, we make 1 hour of fake customer arrivals using exponential randomness. We set the random seed so our results always match if you run this again. We simulate intervals between arrivals, using an average of 5 minutes. We add up those waiting times to get each arrival's actual clock time. We build a table showing the minute and when each customer arrives. We round off to 2 decimals to make things tidy. Now we print the first few rows to check our data. Running the cell now. See how the times jump forward? That is the randomness in action. Let us plot how the arrival times build up throughout the hour. We set the chart size so it is easy to read. We plot each minute and its arrival time on a line chart. A clear title tells us what the chart shows. The x-axis is each minute, the y-axis is the time of arrival so far. Now we display the chart. Running the cell now. See how arrivals are spaced out unevenly. Now you get to guess. When do you think the next person will arrive after the 60th minute? We prompt you to type in a guess for the next arrival time. If your guess is within a possible range for our example, we cheer you on. If not, we encourage you to explore how unpredictable arrivals can be. This exercise practices real-world prediction using randomness. Running the cell now. Great job giving it a try. Try a few more guesses and see what feels likely. Let us take a quick break. Remember to like and subscribe for more fun Python lessons. Quick challenge time. Can you spot which distribution matches people's heights? We ask you which distribution is best for modeling heights. If you choose normal, we confirm your answer. We let you know that bell curves match human heights. If you pick anything else, we give a gentle nudge to help you think again. Running the cell now. How many real-world things can you sort into each distribution now? Here is a guide to help you pick the right distribution for different real-world problems. We use the uniform distribution when any outcome is as likely as the others. For example, each digit in a random PIN number. The normal distribution fits when many measurements cluster near one value. That works for things like people's heights. The exponential is best for modeling how long it takes for rare events to happen, like bus arrivals. When you are not sure, make a histogram first. Seeing the shape helps you decide. Running the cell now. These tips can save you lots of time and improve your analysis. Let us recap today's lesson. Quick review. What did we learn? Uniform. All values are equally likely in a range. Normal. Most values cluster near the center, forming a bell shape. Exponential. Models the time between rare events. You practiced with data, visualized shapes, and even made predictions. Try using these ideas on data from everyday life. Running the cell now. Give yourself a round of applause. You have learned the basics of continuous distributions. One last thing before you go. Rocket want more data adventures? If you learned something new, please like, comment your favorite fact, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. There are many more hands-on Python lessons coming soon. Keep practicing, and see you in the next video. Running the cell now.